you were 4-7 after a little bit of a shooting slump there kind of before the Illinois game. Did you do anything to work on that? What do you do, I guess, when maybe you hit those little snags in your shot?
It's kind of loud there. We watched the film from Michigan State and noticed how I kind of yanked my shot back. So I was just kind of working in the gym with Coach Buckley and, holding my fall through the shot, whether it's, a miss or make. Just always want to do that, so I'm focusing on that right now.
Will, Coach talked about your ability to defend almost any player, whether point guard to even five. How do you do that? And then how do you approach it? Do you enjoy it, whether you're having to deal with a point guard or almost a center type guy?
Well, let's rephrase it. I try to guard every position. But it really is just effort, and then just knowing guys' tendencies, watching a lot of film and whatnot, knowing what guys like to do when they catch the ball in certain areas. But really, it's just about effort, how much effort you get, making all their touches harder. That's about it.
You guys are developing as a team. You're playing better together, obviously. Coach said you got 20 games underneath your belt. Is it part of it just playing together, and also the younger guys know how to maybe study film better and know how to go about that the right way better than they did at the start of the season?
Yeah, when guys get comfortable, it helps. They're used to the grind. They're used to the home game, the away game. They know the big games, and so it helps when everyone just has that experience under their belt.
You guys saw it last night. Michigan State lost a couple players and played really, really well. Kind of galvanized. Do you if you talked about that, how that might be how Nebraska is tomorrow with their situation?
From what I've seen, Nebraska played very hard, especially at home. I know they've only lost one game at home in the past couple games. One of the hardest playing Big Ten teams, and I'd say especially they've gotten a lot better over the years. So, it's definitely going to be tough to go in there and play in that environment. I know it's a great environment, so the challenge is it's going to be fun.
What is different? I mean, is there anything noticeable besides just energy about the way they play at home? I think they're 9-1 at home and 0-6 on the road. I mean, it seems like they've really embraced that arena, but is there anything really noticeable, maybe schematically, in what they do differently at home?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think they go out and play the same way every game. Obviously there's a comfort level at being at home. I think the majority of the teams would say they play better being at home than they do on the road. So you have that. But yeah, I mean, they're a hard-playing team. They shoot the ball well, so obviously, being at home helps your shooting percentages a little bit. Yeah.
Well, what do you like that you've seen out of your team in the past couple of weeks? You guys just seem to start hitting your stride a little bit better.
Yeah, they were playing together more. Guys are being a little bit more unselfish. Both, it's not only offensively, you can be selfish defensively as well. Making the help, taking that extra step over to help your teammates. So I think a lot of guys are knowing that, their game will excel if they help their other teammates.
So what impresses you about the Petaway kid? What have you seen from him on the field? What does he do well? What makes him a tough guard?
Yeah, he's a scorer, There's not a single spot in the court that he can't score from. So he's got the confidence as well. So when you got a guy that can score from all over, makes him tough to defend because you have to guard him all over.
I guess, how do you deal with somebody, and it's maybe too broad of a question to just answer in one sentence or two, but how do you deal with somebody who can knock down threes, who can move all over the floor, who basically just can score in any number of different ways?
Usually they make their touches hard, so if you try to make their catches hard and so they, you can't score if they don't have the ball.
What have you guys seen from Austin? Basically, what's impressed you about what he's done, and just how have you kind of seen him evolve since he's been here?
Austin's playing with a lot more confidence. I've noticed, especially in practice, and I've seen it carry over to the games. He's, becoming more of a leader, I feel like, especially on the bench. He's running that bench very well. And when he comes off the bench, he's giving great energy. I've noticed a few times, we can kind of be down in the slump in the game. Austin will come in, score a couple buckets for us, and, that'll get us pumped up. So we especially going to need, all our players, especially on the bench, to come in and produce for us.
Anything else for these guys? Just go ahead.
It's totally out of left field, but I guess for either of you guys, Mo Creek is, he's watched a lot of your games. He tweets about them a lot. Have you guys been able to kind of watch what he's been doing at GW this year? I mean, he just seems to be keeping tabs on you guys. I don't know if you're keeping tabs on him. He's having a little bit of a, strong senior year.
I've kept a little bit of tabs on him, and I noticed, he's, becoming what, I've seen just a little bit of what he's done here. He's just a straight scorer, really. And, You know, he's been a great teammate. You know, he texts us sometimes and checking on how we're doing. So, you know, I'm glad to see that he's over there, especially, you know, around his hometown doing his thing.
Will, I guess, what do you remember from playing there a couple years ago at Nebraska? I mean, it was kind of a tough game for you guys. I mean, what do you remember about that environment, that game?
Yeah, you know, it's a different arena this year, but the same feel, I think. You know, they had the place packed, jumping for us. I think we were like 11th in the country at that time. So, you know, the atmosphere is going to be big time, as it should be. And, you know, I just remember having a pretty steady game throughout, and, you know, we lost a big lead at the end, so we're going to try to make sure it doesn't happen.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thank you.
Happy birthday to my boy.